Put it, big. But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the day after reaction to the Commanders' thrilling 23-20 wildcard weekend victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We staying in the offs. 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 The last 24 hours have just been amazing. You would have thought we won the Super Bowl, but this is akin to that for us. I mean, it's been a long time. I can only imagine what the Detroit Lions fans felt like last year. All those firsts that they encountered last year, that's sort of like what we're going through this year. And there's no better feeling, other than I would assume winning the Super Bowl. But I can tell you that the last 24 hours have been epic. So I was talking to my partner, the guy that helped set up the event that we did last night, which was a massive success. Let me just start by saying that was the most enjoyable football watching experience I've had in my entire life. It was a blast. And a big shout out to everybody that helped make that possible. Everybody that was in attendance, everybody that donated. It was so much fun. And I can't thank you guys enough for coming out and being a part of that. It was epic. And so after it was done, and I always tell my wife this because I'm a night owl, and a lot of times after I do shows, I'm amped, right? I can't go to sleep right after I finish a show because I put a lot into my shows, like a lot of energy, and a lot of times I have to wind down before I can actually shut my eyes and fall asleep. My brain will be racing if I don't. So last night was no different. I was on cloud nine last night. So, I just had an epic show. I met all these great people, had a blast. My favorite team won a playoff game for the first time in 2 decades. And I'm just taking it all in. My wife is, excited, and, we're laying in bed, and, we're talking about the whole day and everything that's transpired and winning. And we're watching all of the little, videos and people's reactions and, just kind of just taking it in. And she's like, all right, but I'm going to sleep. So she lays down, and I can't go to sleep. I'm amped still. And you know what I decided to do? I'm such a geek because I haven't been out of my house to take in a Commanders game in over a decade. The last time I wasn't in my house to watch, or someone's house where I watched the actual TV broadcast, well over a decade. So I love watching the TV broadcast, especially when it's a primetime game. I love Mike Tirico. For those of you who don't know, I am a massive Mike Tirico fan. Nobody does it better. I will listen to Mike Tirico. I will tolerate, rather, Chris Collinsworth so that I can get Mike Tirico. And Collinsworth actually wasn't bad on Sunday night. He really wasn't. But I wanted to hear Mike Tirico call our game, because we were so turned up at the watch party. We could hear, but you can't hear, right? Because I'm talking, I'm talking about the game and the play, and I'm asking people questions, and so you can't really hear. You can hear the game's on, the sound's on, but we couldn't hear. So I wanted to go back and kind of experience the game like I normally would. So I watched all 3 hours of the game. Yes, I did that. So I didn't fall asleep last night until like 6 o'clock, or this morning till 6. And going back and watching that game and, uncovering some of the things that happened during the course of the game, watching it a second time, and then, seeing the reaction of the players and, listening to DQ and everyone speak after the game, it was just, man, we deserve this. After us as fans, nobody deserves this more than us. Nobody. But after us as fans, You know who I'm so excited for? I'm excited for the Terry McLaurens, the Sam Cosmes, the Tress Ways, guys that have been here, guys who've gone through it, the Jonathan Allens, the Deron Paynes, but two guys in particular, right, that I love, Sam Cosme and Terry McLaurin, because Sam Cosme cares. You can tell he cares. He cared when we sucked ass. And you could tell it just didn't sit well with him that we weren't better than we were. And he was pissed off. I remember him talking about it last year. Like, we need to run the ball. This sucks. And I remember early this season, Cosme talking about how different the locker room felt and how he could sense this was a different team and a different vibe. And this was a breath of fresh air. And he was so excited. And every time you hear from Sam Cosme after one of these big games and we win, you just look at Sam Cosme's face and you listen to the inflection of his voice, and you could tell this shit means something to him. And indirectly, as fans, we respond to guys that this shit means something to, right? And then with Terry, you just know. Like, at the press conference after the game, Terry said he's having the best time of his life. That shit hit me in a corner pocket of my heart that I didn't even know a player could hit me at, right? Like, that shit hit me in a corner of my heart where I was like, oh shit, Terry, you trying to make me well up, bruh? That's what you trying to do? Like, you're so happy for these guys. I mean, I'm happy for the fan base. But some of those dudes in the locker room that have seen a lot of this shit that want it so bad, but we just been so ass in such a poorly run franchise. And it's a lot of you like to say there are real adults in the building now. And we got 5. And it changes everything. Yesterday was, on so many levels, amazing. But even with that said, there's still some shit we got to address and talk about. You know, for as good as yesterday was, we got to talk about some things, because this is the day after reaction. Some of those are my reactions. Just taking it all in, really being alive in this moment. Like, don't take this for granted. You know, I was having a conversation. Shout out to my guy, Mamba Fats. He was at the watch party last night. And, you know, we talked. Everybody left. He was the last person there. We were packing up, getting ready to leave. And he's like, y'all need help with anything? And we was like, nah, we good, man. But he wouldn't leave. And he was kicking it, and we were talking, and he was playing all of the shorts and all of the videos that were surfacing about the win. And I saw the Magic Johnson. He played all of that stuff. The Magic Johnson with Terry and, you know, the locker room. That was the first time I saw the locker room with Bobby Wagner getting mobbed by everybody. And then, you know, DQ talking about the 3 Bs and all of that stuff. And, you know, Mamba was the one who played all that. My guy, Mamba Fats, right? And I looked at Mamba and I said, this shit hit different, don't it? And he was like, yeah, it do. And he said, man, I'm 46 and I done seen a lot, bro. Which means he's seen it all. When you're 46, you've seen it all. But when you see it all at such an early age, that's the expectation. Jonathan Allen said to Johnny Newton, he said, man, you so damn lucky and you don't even know it. You so fortunate. Don't take this shit for granted. Johnny Newton's a rookie. This is what he's walked into. So in his mind, this is what the NFL is like. This is what it's supposed to be like every year. We supposed to win, right? And Jonathan Allen's like, oh boy, if you only knew. He went Patty LaBelle on him. If only you knew how bad this shit could really be. He says, I could tell you. And he told Johnny Newton, don't take this shit for granted, bro. Because ain't no guarantee that it's going to be like this. But it might be like this for the next 10 years. But just know, this ain't how the shit is always going to be. And I was talking to Fats, and I was like, yo, you took that shit for granted, didn't you? He said, I damn sure did. I said, I bet you won't do that shit again. He said, I won't. Because when he was growing up, we were one of the best organizations in football. We were winning every year. That was the norm. That was the expectation. So you just expected that to continue forever. And then, like that, it was gone. And that shit didn't come back ever until now. And so I just encourage everybody to just live in the moment, enjoy this. Don't take it for granted, right? Don't start allowing your brain to wander into the future about how we're going to do this next offseason. We're going to get this guy and that guy and this guy. Like, it's cool to be able to think about how the future is going to be impacted by right now, but just living in the now, all right? Just be present right now and enjoy this shit. Enjoy it for what it's worth. We don't know when this ride is going to stop, but as long as this shit is still spinning, right? As long as we still on this ride, enjoy it. We can worry about the offseason when the offseason gets here. Don't ask me about the draft. Don't ask me about T. Higgins. Don't ask me about a corner or an offensive lineman or a runner. Don't ask me. I don't give a shit about none of that. I just want to live in this right here and enjoy this while it lasts. Because once this is done, it's over. The 2024-2025 team will never exist again. So I just want to enjoy this ride. And then we can talk about the 2025 team when that time gets here. When that period starts, then we can have that conversation. But I just want y'all to enjoy this shit. You know, and I really enjoyed a lot of the conversation last night from those that were in attendance, but a lot of you who were watching the watch party, and a lot of you who, you know, were a part of the post-game show. Because a lot of y'all shed tears. A lot of y'all were like in the moment, but there were a lot of you who was, you know, and I was guilty as charged too. I was in the moment, you know, but that's what I'm happy to be in the moment. I was in the moment talking my Detroit shit, but don't get it twisted. The Lions are the 1 seed for a reason. I was talking cold, hard cash last night. I'm going to walk a lot of that back because that was all pure emotion and adrenaline, right? I'm going to walk a lot of that back, or at least be a lot more respectable as I address the Detroit Lions. Now, my disdain for Ben Johnson runs deep because of how he treated us last year. I don't have a Ben Johnson problem, though. Let's get one thing straight. I don't dislike that man. I dislike how he treated us, how he came at us. So we got to check him for that. That's what I'm about. I don't know Ben Johnson personally. And I said some pretty not nice things, called the man a beta. I mean, as a man, that's a tough, bitter pill to swallow if another man calls you a beta, right? That's not cool. But at the end of the day, I asked for this. I wanted this. And now we have a chance to collect on that smoke that I asked for. And I don't plan on being the one to choke off that smoke, but we'll see. I mean, that's a hell of a task, but I'm still enjoying this Tampa Bay win. But in the midst of enjoying it, we still got to talk about some things. The run game is what it is. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. We know what this run game is now. Don't look, just like we talk about with the defense in the latter stages of the game, do not look for this defense to save us, because they're not, right? Who at home wanted the defense on the field again once the game was tied at 20? Who at home said, hey, offense, go score a touchdown and leave a minute 53 on the clock for the defense to get us a stop? Who wanted to see that shit happen? Not me. We know what the defense is, right? And so as fans, we act accordingly. We don't ask the defense to do things that we know they're not capable of doing. We don't ask the defense to stop the run for 4 quarters, because that's not who they are. So you're not going to ask them to do something you know that they're not capable of doing. So what we have to rewire our brain to understand is our run game Now, granted, again, take this with a grain of salt. Detroit's defense isn't Tampa's defense. Don't confuse the two, okay? Now, Detroit's defense has had its moments this season. That game on Sunday night versus Minnesota was damn impressive. But let's not act like Sam Darnold didn't miss Justin Jefferson for touchdowns twice in that game. And Jefferson probably would tell you he dropped a touchdown as well. Those plays could have changed and altered the way that that game went. But forget about all of that. Detroit's defense ain't Tampa's defense. I'm going to just say that. With all the injuries that they have, I feel like there are more opportunities to be had against there. But they are who they are. They aggressive. They're going to blitz. They're going to play man coverage. This should be a week for Jay. They may have to switch it up because we got a lot of time to talk about that. I don't need to get into all that right now. But Tampa's defense stops the run, and we knew that going into the game. So to think that we were going to somehow break out of our running game funk with the running backs was ludicrous. Was absolutely ludicrous. And they shut that shit down. And you want to blame the backs, and I heard a lot of, oh, B-Rob sucks. Where's Chris Rodriguez? Chris Rodriguez won't doing shit behind that offensive line. We were getting blown. They couldn't block Kalijah Cansey. What the hell was Chris Rodriguez going to do? Break 6 tackles? What the hell you think he is? The Incredible Hulk? What you think, he Barry Sanders? Derrick Henry? Ain't nobody running behind this offensive line blocking the way that they've been blocking. Nobody. We have an offensive line run blocking issue is what we have. This ain't a running back issue right now. We have to scheme it up to create lanes in the run game because we can't block man on man, mano y mano. We can't do that. Not right now. Which speaks to there need to be adjustments and changes made up front. But again, that's another conversation for another day. I just want to bring this to your doorstep so you understand. The run game, the rest of this season, the run game with the running backs is effectively dead. You'll have your moments where you get, oh shit, we got 5 yards. Be happy about that. Be happy. You get 4, you get 5, be happy about that. But looking for 18-yard hits in the run game, looking for the big, 27, 30-yard, don't look for none of that. Don't look for none of that. Okay? So the thing that was scary was that Jaden yesterday, the Bucs were ready. They were geared up for Jaden, and they made a concerted effort to say, he won't beat us. It won't be him on the ground. It won't be him. So I'm just telling you right now, I can't say that Detroit will have the same mentality because Tampa Bay played against us once already. So they already knew the speed of a Jaden Daniels and how he could affect the game. So they were prepared. I got to say, man, we got one of them ones. We truly have one of them ones. And it is a joy as a fan to witness this come to fruition right before my very eyes. And you know how you got one of them ones? Is when you start seeing teams do shit that you have never seen defenses do before. And I'm not telling you that I've never seen a double spy before, but I'm telling you, I ain't never seen a double spy before. I've never seen a double QB spy for Lamar Jackson. I've never seen a double QB spy for Michael Vick. I'm not telling you that those don't exist and that that's never happened. I just am telling you, I've never seen it. The Buccaneers on a critical 3rd down in this game, on that 3rd and 6 that he hit De'Ami Brown across the middle of the field on the final drive offensively for us, the Bucs had a double spy, one on the left and one on the right, to try and contain Jaden Daniels in the pocket. A double spy? Are you kidding me? Like, that's some next level shit, man. That is, without a doubt, some one of them ones type shit. They're not doing that for every team and every quarterback in the league. His impact is so profound in so many different ways. And he's got to do it with his legs now, obviously. You know, you saw the 3rd and 1. He had to go get it himself. But the run game isn't going to be a part of it. But what did I tell you guys? And we'll talk more about this on Commanders Nightly News. What did I tell you? We're not going to run on Tampa with the running backs. But the running backs still can have an impact on this game as pass catchers. And what did Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler do in this game? They both had an impact as pass catchers in this game. And so that's going to be their role moving forward. Is if you can't impact the game on the ground, you can still have an impact. Brian Robinson Jr. had some good pass pros and blitz pickups in this game. And he caught the ball out of the backfield. And Eckler had some of the most impactful catches. He had a huge 3rd down catch where he had to dive. It wasn't the greatest ball from JD5. He had to dive and stab it. He had the catch where Yaya Diaby dropped into coverage and was right there. And it's a great throw by Jaden. And Eck jumps in the air, catches it, and runs away from Yaya Diaby, gets up the field. And that was the play that pretty much put us in field goal range and really put the Bucs on their heels. And so they had a very impactful game as pass catchers. And that's going to be the move moving forward, right? Brandon Coleman is a liability. But if you've watched me all season long, then you already know this to be the case. This isn't news to you. If you've been following me, you know how I feel about Brandon Coleman. I think he's a guard. I do not think he's a tackle. And you're going to get pressure off that blind side because he is not a reliable pass protector. He's just not. If you've got good hands, you can beat Brandon Coleman. So we saw that last night. A lot of the pressure that Jaden faced was either right up the middle, interior pressure, or it was coming off that left side with Brandon Coleman. And so just something to consider as we move forward. The Lions have one really good pass rusher in Zadarius Smith. If I'm the Lions, I'm lining them up against Brandon Coleman, and I'm testing my luck there to see if he can win. You know, I'm moving him inside and seeing if I can't create a matchup where he can win. But something to keep in mind as we move forward. He wasn't great in this game. A lot of credit needs to be given, though, to the offense as a whole, offensive line, tight ends, running backs, receivers, quarterback, obviously, etc. We didn't punt in this game. And I know we didn't always finish drives the way we wanted to. We were not as successful as I would have liked us to have been in the red zone. But we'll talk more about that on Commanders Nightly News. But I just was so pleased with the efficiency of this offense in terms of moving the ball. But the thing I was most proud of was Dan Quinn's willingness to be aggressive. There were so many fans, the same fans that were crying that he didn't kick the field goal against the Eagles were the same fans crying that he should have been kicking field goals in this game. And that's okay. To each its own. Nobody's philosophy is wrong, right? The people that want field goals being attempted instead of going for it on 4th down, you're not wrong. That's just the way you would go about it, right? That's your philosophical belief. There are more than one way to go about this, and there is no right or wrong way, right? If you win, it's the right way. If you lose, it's the wrong way. So again, analytics will tell you whether you win or lose, whether you get it or you don't, this is what you should do, right? But that doesn't mean it's right. You know, sometimes there's a feel that you have to go by and this, that, and the third. I just thought this was one of those games where you needed to be aggressive. And his explanation after the game was so spot on. And I like that from DQ because he's cerebral in the way that he approaches things, right? He said that this was one of those games where I knew it was going to be a fight because Tampa's really good, but they had been controlling the ball at Philadelphia Eagle-like levels here of late. They have been hoarding the football, right? Playing keep away and wearing down defenses, and I just couldn't let that happen to us. And I knew we needed to go into that space being aggressive. And even if you didn't get the first one, and we didn't get it on 4th down, we couldn't be deterred. We had to stay the course and we had to stay aggressive because a lot of y'all got spooked after that first one that he didn't get. All right, kick the field goal. What are you doing? I went in my chat during the live stream, the watch party, and all anybody wanted to super chat about, anybody wanted to talk about was this damn DQ, get rid of his ass. He won't take the points. And I'm like, scared money don't make money. You know, that's why he gets paid the big bucks, and that's why you're a spectator. Because you want to be Mike Tomlin. You want to be conservative. And that's okay. Again, that's okay. But that's not okay for us. You can only be conservative when you can play defense. That's when you're allowed to be conservative. When you have a defense that isn't capable of getting stops consistently, you got to win the game on offense. So being aggressive, like that's why I told y'all we weren't beating Philadelphia in that first game by kicking that field goal. We weren't going to win that game 13-12. The Eagles were going to score more points. And you guys know this. So aggressiveness was DQ's calling card in this game because he said, we got to keep our defense off the field. We got to possess the football because the way Tampa's been playing lately, they've been possessing the ball at Philadelphia Eagle-like levels, and we can't expose our defense to that. And the only way to stop our defense from being exposed to that is by the offense stealing a possession or getting an additional first down that may not have been there because we went for it on fourth down and extending a possession. And so we did to them what they've been doing to others. And a lot of times bullies don't like getting bullied. So it was so much fun to see DQ be in his fourth down bag. And while it didn't pay off every time, obviously, it paid off enough. It paid off enough. And when you got 5, and he said this, when you got a guy like Jaden Daniels, it allows you to be a little bit more aggressive because you just trust he's going to make the right play and he's going to find a way to get it done for you. So, again, another instance where having one of them ones gives you a little bit more leeway and benefit of the doubt than other teams have because they don't have one of them ones. And after watching Justin Herbert on, Saturday stink up the joint and watching our guy in his first postseason game go out and add his name to a very short list of quarterbacks who in their first season went on the road and won a postseason game, I think it's safe to say that Jaden Daniels is now the 5th best quarterback in the NFL. He's top 5 now. It's just Allen, Burrow, Jackson, and Mahomes in front of him. That's the list. You don't like it? Shoot me. Don't at me. At your mama. Okay? Don't at me. At your granddaddy or your uncle or your cousin. But at the end of the day, I love DQ's aggressiveness. I thought it was the right thing to do for this particular opponent. And we going to run it back next week because that team's going for it on fourth down. We going to match their energy next week. But you needed to be that way against that group. Obviously, guys stepped up in this game. Loved that Tressway didn't punt, but Terry stepped up. Diami stepped up. Austin Eckler stepped up. I thought John Bates should have had a touchdown. JD was reluctant to throw him the ball, then came back to him too late on that sprint out right, or that sprint right opportunity. But when it's all said and done, on the defensive side, the story of the game was Marshon Latimore and his inability to contain Mike Evans, and that's all anybody really wanted to talk about. And I'm gonna engage. Okay, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on Marshon Latimore. First things first. Let me state the obvious so that you don't think I'm caping for him. He got cooked in this game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Mike Evans stuck his foot so far down Marshon Latimore's ass he was coughing up shoelaces. Pause. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no 2 ways about it. He got his ass whooped. But guess what? The man hasn't played a lot of football in the last 2-3 months. 2 months. Let's call it 2 months. He's been with us over 2 months, and he's played in 3 games. That's it. He was here for 6 weeks before he played his first game. And he played 2 games, the first of which was cardio. It was glorified cardio against his former team. They respected him so much, and they didn't have anybody to throw it to anyway. They respected him so much, they didn't even target him. Then he played real football the following week against Philadelphia, and I enjoyed that matchup thoroughly. I thought it went tit for tat. They both made plays. And then he got injured again. And then he didn't play for another 3 weeks. And his first game back is against another top flight receiver, this time in an old friend, Mike Evans. What did you guys think was going to happen? I thought he'd be a little bit more competitive. Like he'd get a couple pass breakups like he did against A.J. Brown. But I knew Mike Evans was going to get his fair share. This man has not been playing ball. So a lot of you have already given up on him. And that's your move, right? Marshon Latimore stinks. Adam Peters got, bested in that trade. That's what we gave up a 3rd round pick for. So here's what I'll tell you. We may not see the Marshon Latimore that we were hoping to see this year because he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He just needs to get healthy. I just love the fact that he's out there because I'd rather have him than not have him. Okay. Period. Benjamin St. Juste was beat for another damn touchdown, and if not for Mike Sainristil still bailing him out on that first possession of the game, that's a damn touchdown. Benjamin St. Juste is beat by 2 steps by Jalen McMillan. And if for some reason, I don't know what drew Mikey to stay outside and on top, because Mikey should have went with the post. But for some reason, Mikey said, you know what? I'm going to help 25 because I know he ain't shit. I know he ain't shit. And if I go do my job, he going to get beat. Let me help him out. Safety got my back on his post. Let me help Juice out. I'm so glad that he did because it was a touchdown because Juice was beat. So while you complaining about Marshon Latimore, I'd much rather give up the PI than just get beat for a touchdown. To hell with what you're talking about. Because you can still get a stop from the 1. You can still get a stop from the 7. You can still get a stop from the 15. When you just get beat and it's a touchdown, ain't no coming back from that. Juice gets beat. Michael Davis gets beat. Marshon Latimore, he got beat last night. But Mike Evans was being physical with him, as he always is. And he gets away with a lot of shit. Latimore, wasn't getting away with any of it, but it's all good. I just like that he's a competitor. I like that he's physical, that he's not going to quit, that he's going to keep coming back. And at the end of the day, I'd much rather have him than not have him. If you don't see the value in Marshon Latimore, I can't help you. I can tell you this much. He'll be better next week than he was this week. Because he's playing. I'm just happy he came out of this thing healthy. No worse for the wear. So now he can say, all right, I got my feet wet. I got back out there. I'm getting my legs under me. I'm feeling more comfortable. Then he becomes more dangerous. Because when you first get out there after coming off of an injury and then you re-aggravate it and you get back out there, the first thing you're thinking is, am I good? Can I do the things that my mind says I should be able to do, but my body may not allow me to? Can I do those things? Mentally, you start asking yourself, can I jump this route? Can I go be aggressive? Now that he's played a full game and he sees, hey, I'm good. Now maybe he can tackle the football. Maybe he can be a little bit more aggressive. So I just caution you, don't give up on Marshon Latimore. That's not a good bet. That's not good money right there. I'm going to just tell you right now. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I still got belief that this man is a top flight corner in this league. I know you haven't seen a ton of evidence. Give him a chance. Don't dismiss him after just 3 games with this team. A lot of it injury riddled at that. Don't do that. That's all I ask. Don't do that. And be grateful that he's here. Okay? Because we could have Michael Davis active in a playoff game while you bullshitting. I mean, beats the alternative. All right? Beats the alternative. Obviously Bobby Wagner was good yesterday. I thought Jeremy Chin had his moments as well in the game. But all in all, this defense, I thought did a solid job of getting pressure on Baker. But they are who we thought they were. Don't kid yourself. There'll be moments where they're engaged, they're making plays, they're getting off the field. But there's gonna come a time in the game where they can't get a stop. And it's like we go in spurts. Once the momentum shifts and the other team's offense gets it going, it could be a 2 to 4 drive sequence where, hey, the defense, unless a penalty or something unfortunate happens for the opposing team's offense happens, they finna drive this bitch down the field and get some sort of points, if not a touchdown. For this particular game, it was the Baker running over a Bobby Wagner and on a 3rd and 8, which we were offsides on anyway. So even if he didn't get the first down, they would have taken the offsides penalty. It would have been 3rd and 3, and they probably would have converted anyway. But to let Baker run for, 17, 18 yards, run 2 dudes over, drag another defender, that shit can't happen because they got Baker and that offense fired up. They went down, they scored a touchdown, they scored again after halftime, and there was a little period there, right? They went down, they got a touchdown on their first possession of the second half after we had a field goal, and there was a little period there. Well, we couldn't buy a stop. We couldn't buy a stop. It went from 10-3 us to they scored a touchdown before the half, they scored a touchdown after the half, and they scored a field goal on 3 straight possessions. It went from 10-3 to 20-13. Or 20-17, excuse me. Bucs were in the lead. So, or excuse me, 2020, right? Because it was 10-3, then it was 10-10, then we took a 13-10 lead, then they took a 17-13 lead, then we took a 20-17 lead, then they took a 20, or then they tied the game up at 20. So it went from 10-3 to 10-10 to 17-13 to 20-20. So they scored on 3 straight possessions. Touchdown, touchdown, field goal. And we go in those little pockets. Don't ask this defense to do shit. And luckily enough for us, the offense didn't punt. They shortened the game. And so Tampa's offense we didn't get any stops after the first half. Once that touchdown happened before halftime, we didn't get another stop the rest of the game. The only thing that stopped them was our offense possessing the football. We had a 17-play, 85-yard drive that culminated in a touchdown. That's the type of time we were on in this game. Okay? That's the type of time we were on. The only drive they didn't score on in the second half was the one they fumbled on. So understand that you know this defense. I want you to kind of put the run game with the running backs in the same kind of box now. Like, you know them. Understand what they're capable of and what they offer, and don't look for more. Don't set yourself up for disappointment. Know who they are and set your expectations accordingly. I throw Brandon Coleman in that mix too. Set your expectations accordingly and then go from there. But man, is 5 fun to watch or what? Man, he accounted for 87% of our offense. Let me say that one more time for those of you maybe a little hard of hearing in the back.
I'm going to say it directly into the mic. 5 accounted for 87% of this team's offense in a playoff game. This dude is unreal. And as I've said, he's a rarity in today's NFL, which is why he's one of them ones. These guys don't grow on trees. I've been saying this for a very long time, since the Cincinnati game. He's special. And it was probably around the second Giants game when I said, this is the greatest rookie season we've ever seen. It's probably the Giants game. Second Giants game. When I realized in the moment, in real time, we're watching greatness. You've never seen this before. Last night was another chapter in the book of Jaden. And we're not done yet. And he's doing things that we just haven't seen from other. And like, think about the guys that are in that group that I've talked about, the one of one, that one of them ones group, right? That group of 5 that Jaden is now a part of. Mahomes is at the top of that group. Mahomes didn't win his first road playoff game till last season because he had a stacked roster when he took over. They were division champs before Mahomes was even drafted. The year, his rookie season, Alex Smith took them to the playoffs and won the division. He inherited Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and Chris Jones and all of those guys that are on. He inherited that team. He didn't have to go on the road. He didn't have to cut his teeth getting it out the mud. But he got that gene, though. That clutch gene. That it. What is it? He's got it. Whatever it is, whatever it looks like. But he didn't get his first playoff win on the road until last year. Lamar Jackson was so bad in the playoffs. He didn't get his first playoff win until just, 3 years ago? Something along those lines? When he finally got the playoff monkey off his back against Tennessee? What was that, 20? I think it might have been like 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. Where he finally got that playoff monkey off his back. Took him 3-4 chances at playoff games before he finally won one. Joe Burrow, he's one of the few guys that I look at and say, all right. Now, he didn't, of course, his rookie season didn't look anything like this. But Joe's already been to a Super Bowl. Joe's won in some tough environments. But he ain't do it in year one. And it ain't look like this. And then same could be said for Josh Allen. I don't even know if Josh Allen has won a road playoff game yet. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of his victories have come at home. I'm struggling. I'm racking my brain trying to think. Has Josh Allen won a road playoff game? Because I really believe the answer is no. I think every single one of his playoff victories have come at the crib where he's been nice and comfy, cozy. Not that he's not a dog. But I don't think I remember that crazy game against the Texans, his first playoff game, where he was doing all kinds of stupid shit. I'm not sure if they won that game or not, though. I can't recall if they won. I feel like they lost that game. I want to say that was the 2019 season where the Texans went all the way to the AFC Championship, the divisional round, and lost to the eventual Super Bowl champion Chiefs when they were up big in the second quarter, and then the Chiefs ran them down and was up big by the time we got to halftime. But I want to say Josh Allen's first taste of the postseason came in 19, and he was doing crazy shit. Laterals, fumbling, like just crazy shit in overtime, and I think they lost. But I don't think he has a playoff road victory to his name. I only bring this up because our guy is different. And you know, it's a lot of fans out there. Oh, they mad. They big mad. Don't argue with them. No. Don't argue with them. Why? Who is you? You nobody. We don't get paid to argue with them. No. Because they mad. Because we got one of them ones. It's hard to accept that. We've been down for so long and they just got used to us being irrelevant that now we relevant and we got a dude that changes the game, and it's hard to come to grips with that. But I love it though. And for all of our faults and deficiencies, this is how you know you got one of them ones, because he can make up for it. Can't run the ball? Don't worry about it. 5 got it. Can't get a stop on defense? Got to possess the football? Don't worry. 5 got it. Hey, defense ain't going to be able to get a stop at the end of this game. If you give it back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, you're going to lose. Don't worry about it. 5 got it. Receivers aren't great. Don't worry about it. 5 got it. Man, this is fun. This is so much fun. Are you not entertained? Tell me you're not having fun right now. I told y'all before the season started, this was going to be a fun ride. Now, could I have imagined it would be this much fun? No. I'd be lying to you. But I said, when you're going through these infant stages of trying to become a winning team, a consistent, as I like to call it, triple P, these are the times that are the most exciting. Because again, no expectations, right? As my guy Derek B loves to hear me say, playing with house money. What we got to lose? As I said way back in like week 10 before the Steelers game, why not us? Once we beat the Bears, why not us? Huh? Why not us? A lot of y'all started to fade after that 3-game losing streak. And I'm gonna be honest, my confidence was shaken. But I never gave up on this team. I never gave up on this team, but my confidence was shaken. But that's a part of the growing pains. And I said, look, this comes with the territory. There will be ups, there will be downs. But the ups feel a lot better than the downs, don't they? That's 6 straight wins. Who's hotter than us? Nobody. That includes the Lions. Nobody's hotter than us. I said this when we were going to the playoffs. Nobody's riding a hotter streak than us. Nobody's more confident right now than us. And I can tell you this right now, and I'm going to end it with this. Nobody wants to be in a close game against us. If you're going to beat us, you better beat the brakes off of us. You better make it a no contest. Because if you leave us time and you give it to 5, you might as well grab the shovel, pick a spot, and start digging your own grave. Because you're dead. Dead, I tell you. He's a cold-blooded assassin. And I'm glad he's on my team. Glad he plays for the team that I root for. Because I damn sure wouldn't like to go against him. I'd love to say I feel bad for the other teams, but I don't. We're 1 win away from tying Dak Prescott's amount of postseason victories in his career. Damn, that was fast. Up next, Jalen Hurts. Up next, Jalen Hurts. We'll catch him soon enough. Catch him soon enough. Once again, I saw Eagles fans booing up 10-0. I'm gonna leave that one alone though. That ain't my business. That ain't my business. I'm basking in the glow. We got that glow. I'm basking in the glow right now. And I got a pretty good feeling a lot of you are as well. So continue to do that. Celebrate. We staying in the offs. 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 They can't get rid of us. They can't get rid of us. And they said, hey, we got another primetime spot for y'all, man. Another primetime spot, fresh off the presses, Saturday night. I'm working behind the scenes to see if we can run the watch party back. You'll know something by tomorrow because I know we got to act fast. But just enjoy this, man. Leave it down in the comment section. I can tell you this much. DQ had a funny one-liner at the press conference. And we're getting out of here on this. And I want all of your reactions. How you reacted to the field goal at the end by Zane Gonzalez. DQ said it was like the Bounty commercial. You know, when they spill something and it moves in slow motion and he's like, no. Like the spill is heading for the laptop. Ew. I think that was all of us. I was squatting down, right? I got the whole watch party behind me. And I had to silence the whole party because after Jaden got the first down, we high-fiving, we chest bumping, we dapping each other up, we going crazy. And I'm like, hey, stop. This game is not over. Y'all act like Zane Gonzalez ain't our kicker. We ain't make the field goal yet. We are not moving on to the next round. We have not won until that field goal is through the uprights. And they was like, you right. And then I saw this clown take his helmet off and go like this and then do this shit again. And then he went to go put his helmet on and he did this shit again. And then he went to put his helmet and he did this shit 2 more times. I said, oh, shit. The nervous tick. He ain't right. Man took his shoe off, took his sock off, put his sock on, put his shoe on, took his shoe back off, took his sock off, put his sock back on, took his shoe and put it back on, tied it up, took the shoe back off, tied it up, and put the shoe back on, tied it up again. I said, oh, shit. I'm glad I didn't see that part. I didn't see that until I watched the actual game broadcast. Had I saw that, like a lot of you probably did at home, oh, I would have been a nervous wreck. I would have been a lot more nervous than I ultimately was. But I saw about to put his helmet, now, pump fake. Do it again. All right, now I'm putting, no, not quite. Let me, I saw that shit. What was your reaction to that kid? I was bending down, squatting down, ready to jump up. Then that shit hit the pole and I dropped in both knees. So I went from a squatting position to on my knees like, oh no. And then from that to seeing it go through, and I thought I saw it, my eyes thought it saw it go through, but I'm waiting for the officials. They looking at each other like, hey, that shit went in, right? Yeah, it went in. And then arms went up and I went up. Straight in the air. We all lost it. My phone went flying in the air. It was crazy. What's your story? Leave it down in the comment section. How you feeling today? How you feeling? Leave it down in the comment section. We going to we staying in the offs. 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 We got a playoff game tonight. And let me say this. Eagles fans better hope the Minnesota Vikings don't win that game tonight. Because if they do, you getting your ass whooped next week. I said it. They don't want no parts of that Vikings defense. Not the shit I watched. I could be wrong, and they could get their shit together next week. But if they play like they did this past week against Minnesota, oh, they getting blessed. But we'll see what happens tonight. I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the day after reaction to the Commanders' 23-20 wild card victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another streak, dead. I ain't done yet. I got my eyes set on the first trip to the conference championship since, you guessed it, 1991. Hey, if we here, we might as well knock it down. Shit, we already here. Why not? I'll see y'all next time. Celebrate! LouieTeeNetwork.